Hey guys, I'm Christine. Today I'm here with Melanie Clayton. She's our HR manager here at Inuvo, and we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of the job search. So, how important is it to go to a job fair in college?
I think it's very important to go to a job fair when you're in college, even when you're a freshman. It gives you experience kind of doing little mini interviews. You're also getting to begin building a network. You're finding out what companies are in your area, what companies are looking for as far as skill-wise. So it's very important no matter what year you are. Don't wait till your senior year.
I actually never went to a job fair.
Well, you should have.
I know I should have. I think it's one of those things you don't realize how important it is until you're already in the workforce.
Right.
And then you're like, dang, I should have gone to job fairs. Why didn't I do
It's
that?
great for interview practice. I mean, just to go and just shaking hands with each
Yeah.
person you walk up to. You know, I meet students all the time that are really young and they come to these job fairs and they're very meek, and then, you know, I'll see them their senior year, you know, and it's amazing how they've changed with confidence and because you can tell they've gone to these things and they know who your company is, and what you want to do when you're a freshman may change, or what company you want to work for when you're a freshman may change by the time you're a senior. You may see something at that job fair with that company. If that company's sitting behind a table and not making eye contact with you either, is that a place you want to go work for? Is this company energetic about me? I think those are things that you need to kind of test the waters with.
Next, we're talking about social media. The question is, how should a recruiter be able to find you?
I think, so if I'm looking for a certain skill set, you can search by skills. So make sure you have the right buzzwords, if you will, on your resume too, because if I'm looking for someone with Google AdWords, I will actually search for that and find those resumes that way. You can search by city and state, but then if make sure that everything is updated. Also make sure you have a picture on your LinkedIn. I think sometimes there's people that don't put a picture on there, and I don't know, I don't trust that a little bit. So I have had friends that did not want, thought, I don't want to put a picture on there. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to know you're a real person if you don't.
Yeah.
Okay? So put your picture on there.
Professional
That's the only
picture.
time I'm ever going to say put a professional picture on a profile. But it is important to know that you're an actual person. And
Do you judge people by their pictures?
absolutely not. You know, I'm a big, everyone kind of makes fun of me. I kind of have a rule of thumb when I am, if I'm recruiting and I have resumes coming in, I don't want to know what they look like. I don't need to know that. Their resume should speak for them, the skill set. I think we're going to get to that in a minute,
Yeah.
but people who put their picture on their resume, I can't stand that. But
have it on your
but on a
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn account, you know, if I've got to look at their LinkedIn account, I really don't spend a lot of time on the picture. I really don't. But if it's absent, you know.
Well, like, what if someone uploaded a selfie, you know, versus an actual, like, professional picture? Like, is that gonna...
Yeah, I don't want to be a selfie in your car where you can see the seatbelt and everything. Let's not do that.
Yeah. Okay, so resumes.
Yes.
We kind of already started talking about that, but what absolutely has to be on your resume?
Number one, contact information. You'd be surprised with how many resumes I've gotten where it's just your name, no email address, no phone number. And let's make sure that you're not putting your current employer email on there. Make sure it's your personal email address on there. So contact information, absolutely. I want to see the places that you've worked and what you did for those places. And then a snapshot of your skill set. I mean, if it's specific software knowledge, that's what I was talking about with these buzzwords. You need to make sure those are on there. A lot of companies, especially larger companies, they get hundreds of resumes a day. They do word searches on these. So make sure you have the right wording on your resume. But really, I want to see employment history. I want to see skills and a contact information. I really don't care about, I really don't want to see your picture. It allows companies to be discriminatory, I think. And I really don't care if you ride horses on the side or that's your hobby. I don't care about that. I do not care. It's very unnecessary.
Are you more likely to read the resume that has, like, bullet points or, like, paragraph form, like explaining kind of what you did for a company? Would you rather see just, like, da-da-da, or, like...
I don't think I have a preference. I do not like it when they talk in first person. So I think the bullet points are kind of straight to the point, but then don't cut yourself short either. You know, you don't want to not put something on there because you're trying to keep it short. You know what I mean? But just don't talk in first person. That is probably a little.
I didn't even know that.
I don't like that, and I don't know why I don't like that. I've been
Like
doing
bragging on yourself.
Yeah. Well, I've done this a long time, and I guess if you look at as many resumes as I look at, you know, you do want to you like them kind of cut and dry. You want to know exactly what they've done.
So how, I guess on that note, how personalized should they be? Like, as far as, you know, you can use a straightforward template, or you can, you know, make it really fancy and snazzy and like whatever. So like,
Yeah,
do you pay attention to that, or do you not?
I do pay attention. I think of it, if I am recruiting for a creative person, and Inuvo is a very creative company, we do hire, we have a creative team. If I am looking for a graphic designer or a UI UX developer or someone like that, if they have a fancy resume, that's perfectly fitting.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking for a developer or a writer, a straightforward template is just fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to look all over the place to find something. But again, that goes back to me and the amount of resumes that I look at. I think if you were applying for a small company that probably doesn't have just resumes pouring in, I think you can get a little personal if you want to. But again, that's what the interview's for. You know, the resume is to show a company your skill set and why you're qualified for this job. That's it. That should land you the interview, not what you look like.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you're in there interviewing, that's where you sell yourself, the kind of person that you are. That's where they should find a little bit of who you are in that interview. You know, where you come from, and you know your work ethic. That's where that comes out. But if that resume doesn't clearly define that you're qualified for that job, you're not going to get that interview.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you've got to put it all out there on the page.
Okay, so last question about resumes is how long should they be? Because I've heard just keep it page maximum, like only one page, or, you know, if there's more information, should you go ahead and have like a 2-page resume, or?
I don't care about how long they are. As long as it is fully explaining what you've done. I think back a decade ago or even longer, they wanted it one page because everyone printed them, or you had them printed to hand to somebody. These days, you email them, you know, so it's not like you're printing them and you have a 5-page resume. You're looking at it on your computer. It doesn't matter how long they are anymore. But don't go on and on and on about a position that you had that, you know, just trying to beef it up for no reason. But as long as it clearly explains what you've been doing, I don't care how long it is.
By the way, if you're overwhelmed about all this information about resumes, we have 2 templates available on the site right now that we have Melanie review and make sure that they were up to her standards. So you can get the link in the description if you're interested in those. Okay, cover letter or no?
I think a cover letter is going to depend. Again, I look at a lot of resumes. I don't always read a cover letter.
Yeah.
I will if you have if you need to explain something. All of your work history we're in Arkansas, all of your work history is in Texas. And I'm wondering, well, is this person living here? So the cover letter sometimes can explain those things.
Okay.
Hey, I'll be from Arkansas, relocating there. So I would go to a cover letter if I had a question on the resume, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't require a cover letter. I do think that they need to be, if you're going to put a cover letter out there, be very specific to that company.
Yeah.
Do not have just a generic cover letter just to have one. We can kind of see through that. But if you need to explain something, relocation, anything like that, definitely put one. But I do not need to have one.
And salary negotiation. So when is the appropriate time to ask about that, or would you wait for them to ask you?
I think, so obviously you need to understand what the salary will, at least the ranges, before you get further into the interview process. As a rule of thumb for me, I do, before I bring a person in to interview with our leaders, I'll ask them what their range is, what we would need to stay in the range for them. It needs to be very clear before everyone kind of wastes some time. I definitely think that if if you're getting late into the if you've interviewed a few times, I definitely, if the company hasn't brought it up, I think the candidate definitely should bring it up.
Yeah, because I probably wouldn't feel comfortable bringing it up until they were like offering me the job. But is that like too late? Like
no. So as far as wondering what the salary is for the position, that is I would say. I would ask the question, do you have an idea of what the range that you'll be paying for this position? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with asking that question. I do appreciate an employee who knows what they want and knows their worth. So I would definitely ask that question. If they bring it up to you, be honest. If they say, well, we're looking to pay this range, and if it's quite lower than what you're expecting, you need to tell them, my range is a little higher than that, and then you can say, but, if you feel like you can go higher, I'd be glad to interview, or I'd be glad to continue with the interviewing process. Again, just don't sell yourself short, and don't be unrealistic,
Good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, hopefully we covered all the basics of the job hunt today, but if you have any more questions, feel free to comment below or email us at hitusup@earnspendlive.com or tweet us with the hashtag #JustEavesDroppin, and we'll get the answer from Melanie. But we're definitely going to have more interviews with her in the future, so stay tuned and like us and comment below. Yay!